I love you. You're just old and crazy.
If you're hearing our voices, it means it's time for It's This Meets That, the podcast where we watch the worst movies from trailer to end credits, scene by scene. So you don't have to, but maybe you should. I'm Russ.
I'm Jared.
Thanks, bud. So,
but it's either that or you're a sick fuck just like me.
All these are not wrong.
Good quotes. Good quotes.
So we're back. This is part 2 of our breakdown of the 2016 Adam Sandler movie.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. The do-over. The do-over.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do? Did it over.
That's right. Did it twice. The movie's so nice they made it twice.
Oh, please no. This is part 2. Where we left off last was the boys were on vacation in Puerto Rico.
Yep.
All paid for by Netflix. And they were in a sweet house. Then they went to a sweet club.
Yep.
And we were left off with, I think, Sandler asking Spade if he'd ever been in a threesome before. I'm sorry, Max asking Charlie. Their characters in a movie, this isn't their real life. Like,
well, right. You're right. This is not at all real life.
Even if it is real, it's still not real life.
Yeah. And he basically is like, Max is like, let's try and make it happen.
So we cut to the sweet house, right?
Yep.
So it's Charlie there in a threesome with the neighbor and the Guzmán.
That's right. Jorge.
And this was kind of funny. And Guzman's just like, you got to stop staring at me, man.
Yeah, it's poor three-way etiquette, apparently.
He's like, I'm going to go take a dookie. It's all very...
it's very Adam Sandler.
Yeah, it's all very Adam Sandler humor. It's the Guzman's delivery, though, that is just priceless.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think really the most important thing about this whole situation is then Max is pushing Dawn, be like, hey, any information when the movers came here, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And then she drops some negative info that the real estate agent may have had or had some info, but she couldn't share it or something, right?
No, she says the real estate lady that I play tennis with told me this and said not to repeat it, but she thinks you're on the run, like wherever this money came from, and like y'all are being shady, and so they're like, oh.
And then to really turn up the dial here,
yep. The
Guzman comes back, and we get a good old sweaty nutsack shot over Charlie's face.
That's right. It's a scene.
It's a scene.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so next morning we're at the sweet house.
Yeah.
We've got them having breakfast together. Max is making breakfast, and we've got this sausage joke that just goes on for way too long.
Way too long. And
this was another moment where I was like, I think this is just Sandler and Spade just hanging out.
Yeah, I'm very confident that these are improv lines, and
yeah, like it's just the two of them just hanging out having breakfast on vacation, and they happen to film it.
Yeah, it's like we're watching Grown Ups again, where it's like there's no script. You just it's just guys shit on each other, basically.
So some of the key things we find out here: Dawn, the neighbor who he had the relations with, is married.
Yep,
which will set up for something later on, right? And they're going to play golf with the husband
on Sunday, right?
Yep, friend of the pod, who we'll find out soon. And then we find Charlie has a tablet, and he finds photos of Fishman and his wife. Played by Paula Patton.
Yep. And
that's from the trailer too.
Yep. This is also when Max is like, says he's hungover, but he like looks sicker than hungover. And that's when this is again when I thought he was like still looking for drugs. Like I thought he was dope sick or something. Cause I was like, what? I don't understand what they're getting at here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple more moments of like this, like him hiding or trying to deflect that he's actually sick, which, yes.
Yeah. Because then immediately we cut to the pool and Max is taking a bunch of pills.
Yes.
And so I guess that's when I started to get confused because I was like, oh, so he has the drugs now that he was looking for or whatever. I don't know.
Nope. He's hiding something else. The big C.
That's right.
So then Charlie hears the big C, Charlie, yeah. And then Charlie's in the pool. There's a doorbell underneath there.
I didn't get that part. Like, it doesn't come back, does it?
No.
Like, why is there an underwater doorbell? Is that a thing that people have in real life?
Yes, I don't know. Just because it's cool. I don't know. I guess.
Fascinating.
So much money that they got a doorbell. Man. Got me. So then Max goes. He checks through. This is seen from the trailer. We get Nick Swardson there, suited up. He's looking like he's real important. And again, this is all from the trailer, right? And does Max drive through now or later? I forget.
Not yet. There's a bunch more. There's like the rest of the scene first. So
like the timing of this is so weird. So
like this, Sandler's out at like the pool house or something where he sees Nick Swardson
or the front door. He's just at the front door of the house. Right?
And that's like I couldn't tell. Like the front door would make more sense, but like it looked like he didn't go very far. I don't know.
Yeah,
who cares?
Yeah.
But then we
Time
cut
and
back
space
to the
don't
pool.
matter.
That's right. Yeah. Then we cut back to the pool, and that's when the guy with the bat shows up. You're like, wait,
friend of the pod, Michael Chiklis.
Yep.
He shows up.
Who is mad that Charlie tag teamed his wife.
Yes.
Understandably angry.
Yes. He's like, get out of the pool. He's like, I'm not getting out of the pool. And then all of a sudden, bad dudes show up. Quick shot from the trailer as well. We get our blonde German friend taking shots at Charlie. Hits his sweet Corona. Yep. He falls in the water. Chiklis takes one to the knee. And he's just like yelling the entire scene.
It's actually pretty funny. Just like listeners, like literally the whole scene is just going like, ah, 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 for like I don't know 3 or 4 minutes.
It was like one of those ad nauseum things where it happens so long after a while you just start laughing at it because it's just like, please stop.
Yes.
And then Charlie goes underwater and he has another voiceover moment. He's like, I thought this was the end. We get a little freeze frame shot, and then we get Max comes in and pulls him out of the water, and all of a sudden it's just loaded up and shooting bad guys like it's no big deal.
Yeah, but this is where the shit hit the fan. But I didn't know that Max is apparently Action Jackson. You're like, what?
Classic film. And then he just takes out all the bad guys.
Well, except for
our gymnast, the German gymnast. Which
was he German or Russian? They call him Russian later.
Yeah, he's German.
That's what I thought. Okay,
yeah, he's definitely German.
Yeah.
And he's just doing like these ridiculous CG flips through the yard, and Max can't hit him, and it was kind of funny.
Yeah,
Chiklis gets out of the pool, and Max shoots him in the other knee. He goes down.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
It's a little bit of action going on there. And then this is from the trailer when they get in the Ferrari, they bust through the door, and they hit Swardson as he's coming out, which is a running joke, which I did find a little funny.
Yeah,
chuckle worthy.
I didn't laugh the first time it happened. I laughed the third time it happened.
Yes. The first time, no. The second and third time, I was like, okay, I hope this keeps going.
Yeah, agreed.
So then we're back in the house, right? And this is from the trailer. Bad guys they came back to life. So he's talking to someone. There's someone else that he's speaking to, right?
Yeah, the German Russian.
Yep. And we're in the Ferrari on the side of the road, and this is when they do a little research and we find out that Fishman or Butch?
So no, this is where they just do a bunch more exposition. There's no research that happens here. It's that Max did a bunch of pre-research.
Well, not enough, apparently.
Right. Well, he knew all of this and just didn't share it with Charlie. So basically, he's like, oh yeah, they died to bullets to the head. And he's like, wait, I thought you said they died of natural causes. And he's like, well, naturally you die when you get 2 bullets to the head. Okay. All right. It's that kind of movie. And then we get the big reveal that he's not a coroner. He's a guidance counselor. And then Charlie's understandably confused. Like, well, why are you so good at all this other stuff that you just did? Well, because I went to the police academy and I did a bunch of training and.
Yeah, which I was like, is he still telling the truth? Like,
I don't know. But he failed the psych exam,
which
obviously.
Yeah. So then, so you obviously keep their plot moving along. Max is like, oh, so what do we do? And it's the classic, Charlie's like, well, let's just go turn ourselves in and go to the law. And Max is, of course, we'll go to jail for 25 to 30 years. So of course that's the, okay, I guess we had to keep moving along with this plot. Well,
and Charlie's like, I thought you said it was only going to be 10 years. And he's like, well, yeah, the faking our deaths part and blowing up that boat and the insurance fraud, that was only 10. But now I shot that guy and and he's like, yeah, why did you shoot that guy? And he's like, well, because you tag team his wife like a fucking degenerate. So why?
And the only other thing we learn in this too is that Butch Ryder, Max's character or body, the identity he stole, He was on a most wanted list, right? Because he was robbing the banks.
Yep, that's true.
We'll learn later, which was kind of a little important nugget.
Yep.
So they decided to go find Fishman's wife, Paula Patton's character, Heather.
Yep. More narration
from Charlie, and they're heading back to the States. So
yep.
Vacation's over.
And apparently they just get an RV and drive to her house somehow. Like, people ask questions when you buy things generally, like a car.
Well, if you're paying cash, I mean, don't ask questions.
I guess, yeah. I guess it is Florida, right? So
yeah, I was gonna say
there's no rules there.
It is Florida.
I forgot.
Then there's like a really long sex doll joke that kind of goes on for too long and isn't funny.
Yeah, it's not that funny at all. But apparently, yeah, I don't know. Like, Mac's like, oh, I was talking to Dial-A-Boner, and you're like, what? Like, I thought that they were doing a bit that was going to pay off later, and it did not. Like, I thought they were doing like, oh, he was actually talking to you. I don't know, someone. Yeah,
I think the only thing was he was actually talking to Becca, right?
Oh, I guess right. Okay, is that? Yeah, I guess did they?
Yeah, she says it later on when Charlie goes and talks to her. Yeah. She's like, that was me. Good. I was on there. So.
Yeah, I've stopped paying attention to the second half of this movie.
So then they're staking out Fishman's wife there, Paula Patton, Heather, and this is all from the trailer. She goes for a run. Sandler gasses it and hits her with the RV. Same joke. How many asshole drivers you see? One. Okay.
Yeah. He says he's an EMT. Another lie. And then they take her home.
To her home, yes. So we're in the Fishman house here, and at first I was like, "Why is she letting these strangers into her home?" Which,
well, he's an EMT, so
yeah,
he's trustworthy.
Yeah, right. Charlie's super awkward. Has a thing for her, obviously, and then I don't know. Like, other than that, Swardson shows back up, right? Again.
Yep. Rings the doorbell.
Rings the doorbell again. Same setup.
Yep. And she's like, you guys can just leave. Like, I got this covered at this point.
Yeah.
And they're like, well,
they kind of kidnap her, basically. Not kind of. They do.
They do. Yeah.
So they back and forth. She stabs Charlie in the hand. She's trying to get away. Max grabs her. They kidnap her, throw in a car or RV, whatever, or RV, the SUV. And same joke. They blast the doors and hit Swardson again. And I'm like, okay,
it was pretty funny.
This is working. I was like, I like this running joke. I have to keep it going.
Yeah, and seeing him get hit by the SUV was pretty funny too. Because like, I don't know, like the way he like rolled over it. I don't know. It was good comedy.
Good physical comedy. All right, so then we're in a car. Everyone's freaking out, right? And now we're gonna get a little more plot movement here. Max shows us a photo of her dead husband, and then
she's obviously traumatized.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they go to a park.
Yep.
And this is same joke from the trailer about why you posing as my husband, right?
But this was a little weird because I thought that the last scene she showed an appropriate amount of like surprise and confusion and traumatization when they're like, showing the picture of her husband's corpse. All of a sudden, it's basically like he's like nothing ever happened. Like, like, oh, I'm sad about my husband. Are you?
The jump was really quick, and I was like, oh, is this something? Because like it was like she's way too friendly too quickly. Is either they missed this or is this like a setup for something else?
Yeah, I don't know. But so she says that she knew something bad had happened and she'd been looking for her husband for a couple weeks.
Well, and then she's like, yeah, some people came looking for something at her home, but they didn't take anything, right? Then she connects that Butch Ryder and Ronnie Fishman here were like best friends, BFFs there, right?
No, you're right. They do talk about running a research company and stuff. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And there is like a little big pharma connection just to start that, and then we get a clue about a biker bar they used to go to.
Yep,
it's all coming together, right?
Which is weird.
Like
she's just like, oh, like matter of fact, they used to go to the biker bar, and you're like, your husband's a doctor, like that.
Yeah.
All right. I guess doctors can be bikers too.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is just about this is the halfway point of the movie, right? So we're halfway there. So we're at the biker bar. This is where we meet our Encino Man bartender. We get a tiny elephant joke, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah, kind of.
And then just Sandler just crushing the dick jokes left and right. A lot of dick jokes.
You're not going to explain the tiny elephant joke to the listeners?
No.
Good. Okay, perfect.
So he just continues to crush dick jokes, talks about how he likes fruit, especially peaches, which I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
And then,
well, they do the age bit again, which I thought was funny because Max does it and she's like, "Oh my God, you look amazing for 55."
Yeah.
And then Charlie's like, "I'm 66," and she's like, "Yeah, I could see that." And he's like, 70. I meant 70. And he's like, stop going up. Like, what are you?
Oh my goodness.
There's a mild payoff for this later, so I guess we should say there's like an aside with Max and Charlie, and he's like, you gotta hit on her more, like strike when the iron's hot here, and then you just lean in and fuck her in the mouth with your tongue. And he's like, what? You're like, okay.
All right. So then Max is like, I'm gonna go look for a canary, and then we get Charlie and Heather at the bar. She tends
canary
to his,
in the mob sense, not in the bird sense.
Yes, yeah. She tends to his stabbed hand, his all messed up hand. They kind of talk for a bit, but I was like, why is she all of a sudden all friendly with him? What is going on here?
Yeah,
something's afoot. So Max goes. He runs into a big biker guy who basically chokes Max and is like, "What are you doing?" Asking for blah blah. And
yep. That's why he has the same tattoos as his buddy Butch.
Same tattoos and shirt, I think, right? And as Butch, his friend, right? And then Heather steps in, and then this is where we get big plot exposition movement, right?
Yep, exactly.
So we're hanging out back with this big biker dude, and we learn that Butch Ryder was dying of stage 4.
Real Butch Ryder. Yeah.
The real Butch Ryder. He's dying of stage 4 cancer, right?
Yep, 6 months to live.
Big Pharma shut down Ronnie's work, right?
Well, Shecky did specifically.
And because Ronnie Fishman had basically he was working a trial pill that was effective against killing cancer, right?
Yep, exactly. And so once the program got canceled because of money and Big Pharma, that's when Butch started robbing banks. And that's how he ended up on the most wanted list. And it was in order to pay for the cancer pills.
And then we learned that biker guy, Butch, and Ronnie were all crossed lovers.
Right, exactly. We find out the biker is Dakota.
Yes. Or dick jokes.
Yeah, not funny. Like, it's really like, Tice came back into the room for this part, and we were both watching it, and we were like, she's like, when did this come out? And I was like, 2016. She's like, how? Like, that was so recent. Like, they're making a bunch of like not funny at all gay jokes, and you're like,
and those keep going too. They keep coming back later on.
Yeah,
like I said, the humor doesn't change. It's still the same. So
it's like very like late 90s, early 2000s humor.
So they're all in the SUV there, still going with this very long gay joke between Sandler and the biker guy.
Yep.
And then biker guy takes a hit, right?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. None of the rest of that matters that much. So Dakota gets shot, which is unfortunate because I feel like I thought he was one of the better characters in this movie so far.
I thought so too. And he gets killed by the tall blonde German assassin.
The gymnast.
And then they have a standoff with the German. And they go to run him over, or Max goes to run him over, and he just flips over the car.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. And they drive away, and Max says that they should go to his mother's vacation house, and that's the plan now, apparently. And this is when I had to pause the movie because we were having a game night, and I had a bunch of drinks and came back to the movie afterwards.
And this is when you wrote in your notes, drunk. Does that mean
right.
That's you?
That's me.
Okay.
Yes.
So at this point you were drunk. Okay.
And that's when I picked this back up. So I watched the first half of this movie until like 8:30 p.m.
Yeah.
And then I picked up the second half when I was drunk at like 12:30. Like 4 hours later.
Oh God. Why do that to yourself? You got to pull it off like a Band-Aid and just crank through it.
Nope. I took a long break.
Yeah, a long drunk break, it sounds like.
That's right. And then I was like, okay, maybe the movie will be better now. It wasn't. So then they roll up to Mom's house, right? Nighttime beach house here, right? Yep.
And we get a quick moment that Charlie's dad looked out for Max when he was younger because when his father passed away, right? And got him his dirt bike, that mini dirt bike that will pay off later.
They just kind of shoehorn things in at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we get inside. We meet Max's mom.
Yeah.
Nothing better than some old lady filthy talk to be funny. So
yeah, she hits Charlie with a frying pan, which is pretty funny.
Yep.
They do a sad Sonny Bono bit. That's rest in peace. But David Spade does look a little like Sonny Bono.
Yeah, it's the mustache.
Yeah, it's the mustache in the hair. And then basically, mom is worried about that whore prom queen, Charlie's wife.
Yeah, she makes some good filthy old lady jokes here, right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
So then mom starts getting confused, and I was like, wait, it's just like I was getting confused because then the mom was getting confused, like who Max was or something.
Yeah.
And Max is covering up that so on the refrigerator she has photos of all the important people, the president, the mailman, Max, and then there's a kid on there, and she's like, oh yeah, that's young Max, when it's actually, spoilers, it's actual Max's son, right?
Right, exactly. Yep.
Then the power just goes out. Yep. Or actually, Heather comes back because she was away from the table. She comes back, and I guess she had spoken with Shecky or something.
Yeah. Yeah,
I kind of missed that line, so then I was like confused about when they go to his house. I was like, "Whose house are we at right now?" I had no idea.
Shecky,
yeah, it was Shecky. So it took me a bit, but I was like, because I missed this line, I was like, "What?" So they got a lead at least. Shecky will be the next stop. Who was the finance guy for Ronnie's research there? So
exactly.
Power goes out. Max goes outside. It's raining. He goes out with a gun. Some of this is from the trailer. The next scene is. So he goes out with a gun to check on the power. He's like, oh, circuit breaker was probably flipped. Yeah. Sure enough, fuse box, circuit breaker box is outside, which I don't know if that's up to code or not.
Doesn't happen. Yeah.
I was like, water would be getting inside that doesn't, which you don't want. So.
Yep. And he leaves his gun on a fence post.
Like at a railing.
Nearby. Yeah. Like on a railing nearby. And you're like, why would you do that?
You can do one-handed thing. It's
because of course we see a hand come in and take the gun.
Yes. So then this is from the trailer, and it's Kathryn Hahn. She shows up, kicks open the door, has them all at gunpoint. We get the other funny joke in this movie of who's his sexy bitch. It's me, not you, ma.
And then Charlie ends up with the gun by the end of that.
Kathryn, Becca, and Max are like, he's like trying to tell her to leave, to go, and it's like, oh, why is he doing this to her, whatever. And then they start making out, and then we cut to Charlie and Heather sitting in their bedroom, or in a bedroom, and Becca and Max are having loud, sexy time. Right,
exactly, and that's when Charlie says he wishes he was senile now.
Yep,
like the mom. They do the whole bit from the trailer about, why did you do this? Like, why are you pretending to be my husband?
Yep.
And then she says she's going to feel safer if they sleep in the same room together.
Classic.
A not funny joke about sleeping on the floor. And she's like, no, we're adults. You can sleep in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And then he fucks her mouth with his tongue. It's gross.
End scene.
End scene.
Next morning, we're at some dude's house. This is Shecky's house, played by Matt Walsh. Got that Southern hospitality. Made some tea for y'all, and he was just like, I just handled the money. We had, he kind of gives a little backstory about his deal, which some of it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything else important before that.
Right before that, Max broke up with Becca. That was after they hooked up the night before, and Max is pumped that Charlie hooked up with Fishman's wife. So like that's the only thing that I think was important. Air quotes.
Yeah.
Basically at that point, Shecky is like giving a bunch of exposition, right? He's lost his mom on Monday. The soup kitchen he volunteers at burned down. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I do. The sneaker thing was kind of funny for later on when so Max is like, oh, sweet sneakers, dope sneakers, whatever, and he's like, oh yeah, I got a guy at Nike and they're fucking hideous, but it was pretty funny. So then he talks about how it's all about the formula. He just handled the money.
We lost it.
That's what the bad guys want. They want the formula, and they lost it. Yeah. That's why home's been ransacked. Max doesn't quite believe him that he's telling the truth.
Yep.
But yeah, and then the banks were calling because all the loans, they're cashing in on.
Exactly.
And then
out of nowhere, so that's when you're like, okay, it must be a big pharma involved thing. Like all of a sudden, like, why do you need this money back? Like somebody's putting pressure on you.
That's right. Big pharma.
And he revealed that Ronnie was Checky's best friend. So
yep. And then car chase. We're on the road, right?
Yep. And Max wants to torture Checky, which you're like, this guy's been through enough.
Yep. And then we get the Swardson Bob there. He catches up to him in a car, and Max is like, this guy he's good. And he. It's so stupid, but I still laughed at it. And he's like, Swardson pulls up next to him and he rolls down his window. And Max is like, hey, can you tell me where the side of the road is? And he just slams into his car, which just goes into this crazy flip through
It was pretty funny. I also laughed.
Just it's stupid, but I was like,
yeah.
Oh my God.
And then we get the big reveal. They get out of the cars and Nick Swardson is an American Express fraud department guy. That's the and Max owes them $62,000
because of all the credit cards he maxed out earlier. Yeah.
I thought that was a great joke.
I thought that was too.
Maybe one of the better ones in the movie.
Yes. So then we get to the next scene. We're at a hospital and Schwarzen's all banged up and Max, we're all in the car and Max is just like, hey, here's a bag full of cash, $62,000 to cover the the money there, and then there's a bunch left in there for you. Go get out of town, do whatever you want with it, just forget we existed, blah blah blah. Go to Hawaii and find some chicks that like to fuck guys with red beards. He's like, I'm kidding, no one likes that. And they just drive away, and Swartson's left there just all banged up, and he's like, get that arm taken care of.
Did you catch the bone sticking out? I missed it for I don't know, it's like, he's like, pow.
It's like, all right.
Yeah,
it's a funny one. So yeah, that's Bob, and then you think Bob's thread is over, but it's not.
Nope.
So now I have no idea where they are. So now all of a sudden we cut to nighttime, and Heather and Charlie are inside an office building. Are they at Checky's office?
Yeah, they're I think they're at the scene of the crime here.
Yeah. So Charlie's doing some database hacking, right?
Trying to access the payroll system.
Of course, because he's a finance guy. He's good at that, right?
Yep.
And then, I don't know, is there, other than, obviously there's a lot that goes on here, but Max and Charlie have a moment over the walkie-talkies, right?
Yep.
I don't know if there's anything important before that, but they basically...
No.
They have a whole thing back and forth, right? And
Charlie finds photos of the guys.
After, right? So after they have
that's as he's. I thought that's right when he does the radio bit, right?
Okay, yeah. And then they basically just have a friend break up, and Max takes off on his little mini dirt bike.
Yeah, exactly.
But then Heather's like, "Oh, I'll go find Max. You stay here and find the formula." So Charlie's still digging through the computer, and that's when he finds all the files of all the patients, and at the bottom he finds Max Kessler, and we learn that he was actually a trial patient for this drug that Ronnie Fishman was working on. The drugs were 97, 98% effective. Yep. I love how he pulls up the article, the headline of the drug and the information, they highlight the keywords
Yep.
Okay. And then we have a flashback moment. Charlie is flashing back to all the moments in the movie of Max and Becca, and realizing that argument was more about him dying and
Yeah. Well, isn't that when we get the big reveal or when she's talks about how she's after the formula, the wife there, Mrs. Fishman?
Yeah. Well, she tells him. I don't know. Does she? Yeah, there is a comment about
this. I can't remember. Did I just figure it out at this point, or did she say it then?
No, you figured it out at this point.
Okay.
Which
because it's in my notes, and I'm like, did she say that, or did I just figure it out?
No. This is because then she's just I'll go find Max. You find the formula.
Okay, got it.
But yes, she's definitely after the formula herself. So
yeah.
Whew. So yeah, Charlie has flashback moments of scenes for the rest of the movie. He puts everything together. Oh, this all starts making sense now.
Yeah. Yeah. He talks about how he wouldn't wish anybody growing up without a dad. It's because he's talking about his own kid.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not a cure for cancer, cure for Max's cancer. So,
yeah,
which is a cure for cancer.
But, that's right. Yep. Yep. But it's personal.
Then we're at Pep Boys, and love a good Dan Patrick cameo. Love a good Dan Patrick cameo. Thought it was pretty great.
Who's Dan Patrick?
Dan Patrick from ESPN. Dan Patrick, Sports Center.
Not familiar. Nope.
No, he's got his own podcast, radio show, Sports Guy.
Oh, okay.
So we're at the Pep Boys. Dan Patrick has a great cameo, just kind of talking about his depressed life. The two girls sitting on the counter there who were supposed to be Dan Patrick's character's kids, those are Adam Sandler's daughters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
yeah, it's a good catch.
And I did find it funny that Sandler couldn't think of the word vice, and that kept coming up.
Oh, yeah. It was funny.
Kind of funny. He's like, I'm looking for one of those things, like Joe Pesci had in Casino where he put his head in. And the girls are like, you mean a vice? And he's like, yeah, that's it.
Yep.
He's like, you should try a hardware store. It's like, this is kind of funny. And it comes back in later.
Mm-hmm.
So the plan is he's buying all this stuff. You get the battery and basically he's getting all this stuff.
Torture equipment.
Yeah, torture stuff, right? And then we're back at Shecky's house, right?
Yep, exactly. And Max is actually going to torture him.
Yes.
So he starts breaking his hand.
In a very funny way.
He wants the formula. Yeah, it was funny. Very funny. Puts his head in a vice. Ruthless. Can't remember vice still.
He's like, I'm going to put your head in one of that thing with a vice? Yeah, that's it. Why can't I remember that word? He thinks Shecky is kind of covering us in part of this, but he's actually a good guy. Shecky is a good guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, we get it. We get all the exposition about what's going to happen, right? So.
Yep, exactly.
That basically they were, it all comes down to, well, first of all, he gets his head in a vice. He, starts saying like, good guy, whatever. He sees that Chucky's been shot.
Yep.
So he throws him on a couch, and this is we get more exposition about the plot, what's going on here. So the chemotherapy company was the one who's kind of behind this, right?
Right. Trajgard.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, which is one of the producers' names on the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Pernil Trajgard. I'm not pronouncing that right, but
Trajgard.
Trojgard,
right?
Yeah, Trojgard. So yeah, she's a producer on the movie.
Good find, good dig. I like that.
Yeah, thanks.
So yeah, basically, the chemo company wanted to bury the drug because
it was going to cost them trillions of dollars over decades.
The drug sure would make billions, but a company that wants cancer around because big pharma, man, right?
Classic. Yep.
Classic big pharma. So then Shecky's he's pretty much dying here, and says make sure all my money goes to cancer research.
And you can have my Nikes. Yeah, it is kind of funny.
It was pretty good. And then he's like, "Oh, who killed you, Shecky?" Whatever. It's kind of funny in the background. You see the feet of the German sneaking up behind him.
Yep.
And he flips over. It's like, that's kind of funny. I like that physical humor there.
Yep.
And then, our German guy knocks Max out. Then we're in the basement.
Oh, it was the basement?
Wine cellar, whatever.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah, the boys are in trouble. So German guy starts, or he's going to torture Max, right?
This was funny. And he sees the German guys wearing the Nikes.
Yeah. And he says, find us keepers, you lose your sneakers. It's very funny.
That one got me.
Yeah, I almost pulled that as the quote.
Finders keepers, you lose your sneakers. It's so stupid, but it's funny.
I know. I also laughed, so don't feel bad.
I think like that is like that's the Sandler humor I like, and some like the off bit like little things he just throws in there. But like when he gets into like the stupid dick jokes and like the gay jokes, like all right, man, this shit's not funny like anymore. But like these little goofy, stupid, ridiculous things are like hilarious because it's just so out of place.
That's what the people want.
That's what we want. So yeah, we cut to the Becca's house apartment, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah. The end of that whole connection there is they're like the German guy's like, you're just like me, like we're the same kind of guy, and that you're like, oh no, like, is he?
But is he though?
Yeah, but then we cut back to the ex Becca.
Yeah, so we're there. Charlie shows up, right? And as we get more details of plot and connections here, ish, kind of mostly, right? So Max actually found Fishman and Ryder there dead, right?
Right. Yep.
Butch Ryder. He found them dead in Shecky's building, right?
Yep. Exactly.
And then we learned that obviously we learned that Max had set this whole thing up of staked out Charlie's life, saw he was kind of a loser, and figured he needed something more. He needed this more than Max actually needed.
Yep. Exactly.
So he basically used his friend.
Yep.
That's what friends do.
That's what friends do.
That's what friends do. And then Becca mentions that she had caught Ronnie and Butch in kind of like a moment of some sort, right? And and they were doing something they shouldn't, and then they offhandedly said, "Oh no, we were just playing Jenga," and then that's when you have like a light bulb moment for Charlie, right?
Yep, exactly.
Jenga is the secret code, right?
Yep.
I don't know if there's anything else in there, but it was just mostly just to tie all that stuff together, right?
Nope. Yeah, I think. Yeah, good.
We learned that she did buy the sex doll farm, and that was her. This is where we learned that she was on the.
Yeah, and I wrote it down and also forgot.
Dial boner.
Yep.
So Charlie's got the moment. He's got the light bulb. And if you remember back in the pool when we were hanging out and he's swiping through and we saw Jenga and Netflix. Mm-hmm. That's what we got. So we're back in the basement. Charlie's trying to call Max. He's no picking up, right? And we're back. Max getting tortured.
Connects the electricity to his balls at that point.
I think so. Right?
Yep.
Maybe? I don't know.
Yep. No, that's when that happens. I kind of lost the thread in that scene.
I could tell.
Yeah. Hey, your notes aren't any better.
I shortened them up because they're just moving along.
Yeah.
So then we cut back to Max's mom's house because that's where the tablet is. And Charlie goes in. He sneaks underneath the frying pan hit.
Yep.
Grabs the tablet and opens up the Jenga app and finds the formula.
Yep.
And he calls Heather and it's like, I got it.
Right. And he's a genius. She's thrilled.
She's pumped, right?
Right. And that makes sense then that it's when I figured it out, not the reveal, because he still doesn't know.
Yes. So we're back in the wine cellar basement there. A lot of awkward gay anal jokes going on right now.
I just wrote more gay jokes that aren't funny. And that's when Heather arrives. And this is the big reveal.
The big reveal. She's been behind it the whole time.
Yep, exactly. I don't know why I wrote down Charlie smells like shoes, but that was I remember laughing at that point.
Yeah, so she reveals herself and basically just tells that Max there. He's like, yeah, all I had to do was just kind of flash a little skin, wear a skimpy dress, and I had you two, and I had you leading you guys around like two horny high school kids.
Yep.
And she's like, I would never hook up with someone like Charlie. He smells like shoes.
That's right. Thank you.
It's like it's pretty good. So then she's leaving, right, and then. Yep. I would get more exposition, right? Just like confirming everything that we already know. Ronnie refused to bury the drug, right? Yeah.
But she's like, but I didn't.
Yeah.
So she took the big payoff, is what we're saying. Or, what we're getting at her.
Yes, from the chemo company there, right?
Right. Yep. Exactly.
So then, Charlie calls Heather. She answers, and she's like, "Oh yeah, well, I'll meet you. I'll meet you at wherever, corner of blah 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 street. Doesn't matter. Bring the tablet, right?"
Yep, exactly. Got to make sure it gets into the right hands.
Right. Yeah. If anyone ever says that means that
it's the wrong hands.
It's the wrong hands. So, so then, she tells the German there to put a bullet in Max's head. Yep. She leaves, and the German's like, no. Torture. I'm going to torture you instead of just shooting you, because that's classic, right?
Yep. So he takes off his clothes.
And he puts the battery cables to his nipples, right?
Yep, exactly.
And then Max knocks over all the wine barrels behind him, which had the label AS on there, Adam Sandler.
Oh.
Yeah, printed on there.
I didn't see that. Nice.
Yeah.
So you have a winery?
Probably.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either, right?
Yeah.
So then he knocks over the wine barrels, wine spills over the place, hits the battery, electrocutes the German. He's off the board now, right?
Yep, that's right.
Whew. So close. And then
I think he does have one.
Probably.
Fascinating. Fair enough. Sorry, I had to know.
Yeah. No, I mean that's good little late time fast fact, right?
Yeah, that's fun.
So then we get to the outside, like so then they meet up, right? So we get Charlie and Heather, they meet up, and Charlie's onto her. Right? She's like, exactly. Hey, where's the tablet? Bring the tablet. And he just punches her.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Out of the head. I was like, wait, what? So then she's like, I know Max wouldn't kill an innocent man, because she thinks that Max killed Shecky, and that's what he tells. That's what she tells Charlie, right? Red flag. Yep. So. So they get in a little fight. They get a little fisticuffs, right? Yeah. They're fighting for a little bit, and then she gets him at gunpoint, right?
Yep.
I don't know if there's.
It's just more Adam Sandler jokes that aren't funny. Where it's just like, you farted after we had sex like 6 times.
Well,
why write that?
You're gonna be the only person that knows that who's gonna be dead now, right?
Right.
And then from the top of the hill there, we get Max coming down on the hill. I guess we forgot a little running joke that Max could never do a wheelie. That's why he couldn't. Oh, right.
Remember, that's part of why he failed out of police academy.
Right, because he couldn't do a wheelie.
Yeah, which is confusing and frustrating.
So he's coming down on a little mini dirt bike, and he's doing a wheelie the whole way, and she's shooting, and that's obviously protecting him from getting shot. So, and then he wipes out after hitting her or something like that, and then she's got them again at gunpoint, the two of them, right?
Yep.
And then above her on some balcony is Kathryn Hahn's character, Becca. She's just hanging out, and she just jumps down and tackles her.
Yeah, and then there's like a weird song that they played this whole scene.
So two things. One thing is I love how she jumps off the balcony and lands on her, and then 2 seconds later they're on that balcony again fighting, which I thought was a funny little... I'm not sure if they did that on purpose or they just kind of screwed up, but... So they go into this epic fight, like slow-mo fight, and Max and Charlie are like, oh, let's just watch the cat fight. And they're smoking weed, whatever. And it's a Madonna song, by the way, that's playing.
Okay, thank you.
Crazy for You.
Classic, I guess.
Written for the 1985 Vision Quest soundtrack with Matthew Modine and Linda Fiorentino.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So there you go.
That's fun.
So that song's playing, and then Heather and Becca are like slow-mo fighting pretty epically and smashing each other's faces everywhere, and it's kind of funny. Then
Becca knocks her out.
Yeah, she wins. How's the tablet end up in the water? That's important. Does she toss it into the water? I
think so, yeah.
Heather must toss it into water, and then Becca knocks her out, and then...
Right. Yeah, I guess I missed that part, or I missed writing it down anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of important. So it gets tossed in the water. Becca wins the fight. Her and Max kiss. Cops, FBI, police show up, right?
Yep.
It's a whole... This is it, right?
Yep, exactly.
So then,
bringing her home.
Yeah. Now we're at like the wrap up stage of this. So we're at the hospital.
Yep.
We're at a hospital, right?
Probably,
and then Swardson shows up, Bob, and we learn that Bob isn't an Amex fraud guy. He's actually works for the FBI.
Right. And he's still mangled though.
he's mega mangled. Mm-hmm. They got the tablet though, and he's like, yeah, it's sorry, it's too wet. It's too wet. It's a goner. Then he's like, yeah, but I got to take both, your husband and Charlie, got to take them to jail. They got to go to jail. Like, right. You can't do these things. So you did.
But she beats him.
She attacks Bob, which is hilarious.
It is pretty funny.
So then we see Charlie in the back. He's on a stretcher getting pulled in, and Max runs over and he's like, oh, what's going on? What's going on? And you're like, oh, he's, why is he under? Why is he down? Whatever. And he's like, oh, he's going to go into surgery. And they're like, why is he going into surgery?
Something alarming in his rectum.
Yes. And the doctor, played by Robert Smigel there, who's Triumph, the dog and SNL guy, SNL writer alum. He's like, yeah, there's something. We have to remove something. It all pays off.
Yep.
Do you remember that? You remember that key that was stored up Fishman's ass?
Yep.
What's up there, Doc? It's a USB stick.
Yep. He backed up the tablet onto the USB stick first.
You backed it up, you crazy bastard, you.
Smart thinking.
And then we get the wrap-up montage, right? Voiceover from Charlie, right?
Yeah. And I don't know where he was going with. He's like, like you always have a rubber in your wallet and an umbrella in your trunk because you never know when you're gonna fuck in the rain. What?
That's
common expression, I guess.
Yeah, that's a big. I think it's a big New Hampshire. Is that the New Hampshire state saying?
That's right. Famously, yeah. Yeah. Live free or die. Always have a rubber in your wallet and an umbrella in your trunk. You never know when you're gonna fuck in the rain.
Yeah, pretty sure that's
the end of Live Free or Die. Actually.
It's in Latin on the seal, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, Live Free or Die is a toast from General John Stark to his. Basically, they were trying to commemorate the Battle of Bennington.
Okay.
And he was like, "I'm not going to this. Like, fuck that. I don't want to give it. I don't want to give a speech." Instead, he wrote that quote. Just sent that back. He was like, "This is my toast. Like, just send it back to." The people. And it was famously live free or die, always have a rubber in your wallet and an umbrella in your trunk because you never know when you're going to fuck in the rain.
they leave that last part out sometimes, but yeah.
And then it finishes, death is not the worst of evils.
That all tracks. That all makes sense. Yeah. So then we get a bunch of voiceover from Charlie. He goes back to his home with some zombie makeup, that's a fun one, when they think you're dead and scares the shit out of his ex-wife and
squirts the kids with a water gun.
Yeah, that's all fun stuff, I guess, right?
I guess so.
And then he's talking about how there's only way you can get out of the shit, right? Is having an effective treatment for cancer, so they're not going to go to jail.
Yeah, apparently.
Slides over the USB and
doesn't make any sense. Yeah. No consequences. Hooray.
I don't think that's how that works, but maybe not.
Nope.
So we cut back to the sweet house in Puerto Rico because they're still on vacation.
Max is celebrating with his kid in the pool.
Yep. So we got Becca's there, the kid's there, little Max is there, we got Charlie there, and then left field, classic Sandler. We got Ma shows up with her big saggy boobs just hanging out.
Classic, I guess. It's it's just not funny.
And I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at why.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
At least the Guzmán shows up to kind of lighten it up a bit. So he shows up.
Yeah. Flirts with her.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. And then our friend, the husband and Don, the cheating neighbor.
The Chickless and Don, they're there, right? Everyone's there. Everyone's happy. Everyone's okay. Everyone's fine with this.
Just having a little vacation pool party.
You just shot me in the knee and your friend had sex with my wife. That's fine. Let's all hang out. Pool party. It's Puerto Rico, baby. Come on, right?
That's right. That's literally the end of how the movie goes. So
pretty much. And then we get the just to inform the viewer here that the drugs worked and his cancer's in remission, right?
Mm-hmm.
So no cancer card. So he's got to go do this thing that they wanted to do from the beginning, and they do a cliff jump.
Yeah, and close it. You only live twice, right?
Famous James Bond movie.
Mm-hmm.
The end.
Tomorrow never dies.
From Russia with Love.
Octopussy.
Goldfinger. I could do this all day until we get through all 26 of them.
It's not worth it.
Nope.
It's not worth it.
So yeah.
Credits. Yeah. I hate this movie. I hated it all. Hated everything about it.
Certainly earned its 9%.
Yeah. I'm glad that I was so worried that we were going to enjoy it. I should have known better. I had never learned my lesson. No. I always am like, the trailer made it look kind of good too, I thought.
Yeah.
The trailer that we watched, I feel like if the other trailers gave more of the plot away, I would have liked them less.
Yeah. Well, yeah, whatever plot I guess that was. I mean, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just, it was just kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, don't recommend. Listeners, if you this is a better way to spend almost 2 hours.
Yeah, watch Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, listen to more ITMT.
Yeah, not good. And we've got 3 more coming. So
great.
Get ready.
Perfect.
The money just never ends, sometimes you want it to stop.
We'd run out of material.
It's true. Then we wouldn't have anything. It's a big ecosystem, right? And big pharma's at the top,
That's right.
Kind of making it all happen. So
big sponsors of ITMT.
Huge. Well, I think we're good here, right?
Take us home.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone for listening. We'll be back next week with a new movie. In the meantime, you can follow us on Instagram at @SysMeetsOut. We're ITMTPod on Twitter. And subscribe wherever you listen.
And while you're subscribing, you can also be reviewing. Leave us a review. 5 stars would be nice. If you're feeling old-fashioned and you want to send us long-form feedback, write us an email. We accept those as well. It's systmeetsthat@gmail.com. Or you can go to the website where you can find all of the old episodes, the ITMT back catalog, information about me and Russ. Someday, more stuff. It's systmeetsthat.com.